صباح الخير يا ولاد، عاملين ايه؟ بركة انكم تكونوا بخير ان شاء الله. تكونوا بصحة جيدة انتوا واهليكم وزوجينكم وعشراتكم وكل اللي حواليكم، ونتلاقى بأمر الله من شر. ربنا يزيح الكرب والغمة ويكشف الغمة، ونتلاقى بأمر الله في المحاضرات على أكمل وجه بأمر الله من شر، في سعادة وصحة جيدة. أتمنى إنكم تكونوا بتذاكروا كويس وما تقلقوش من حيث الامتحان. ولو حد عايز أي حاجة منكم أو أي سؤال يجي في الأوفيس أورز بتاعتي. أنا موجود من يوم الأحد والاثنين والأربعاء من 9 الصبح لحد الساعة 4 العصر أو 3:30 كده يعني. فأي سؤال أو أي حاجة أنا برحب بيكم، تقولي في أي وقت وأنا تحت أمركم لأي استفسار أو كده. الميد إن شاء الله هيبقى يوم 28، والامتحان بأمر الله هيكون امتحان سهل المتناول. و تاني اللي عاوز أي شيء يقول لي وأنا أعيد الشرح وأفهمه اللي أنتوا عايزينه تحت أمركم يعني، متقلقوش. طيب هنبدأ دلوقتي محاضرتنا في شكل بريف وفي مجالة، بحيث إن احنا نشوف نكمل بقية المادة على خير. طيب in front of us we can see, as illustrated in the slide in front of us, we can see the content, and we have explained the content of such plan that comprises the mission statement, the key objectives, and environmental market assumption, competitive stance evaluation, leads to market portfolio strategy, strategic change, and ended with action plan for implementation. This we have explained that empirically in our previous lectures. After that, we will proceed to the factors affecting the bank strategy. There are many factors affected the bank strategy and service around the world. The first one and all were the rapid changes since the early of the 1970s. Some of these were related to the industry itself, that has experienced substantial changes in the competitive conditions. This includes a number of factors. For instance, we can see the industry tends to go global or go to internationalization, or to join the train or the continuous or the in-seasons chain of globalization. Led by the leading U.S. commercial banks. For instance, we can see HSBC or Citibank here in Egypt. These banks, in order to go global, they have to have some kind of standardized service and standardized way of action and operation and operation, so as to cope with the international trend and international demands of standardization. Then new competitors entering the financial service and new market approach for selling corporate clients, of course, because if you go global, you will find global competitors. Well, it's not as local as you were, but the international and the global arena is full of international competitors. You have the same kind of service and the same standard, and even trying to be to outperform your performance as well, so as to dominate and excel in the market that you are operating. After that, new capital markets emerged as a result of transforming traditional fund banks. Here we can see the word MNCs. MNCs. This acronym stands for multinational corporation, or it stands for multinational enterprises. Some of these, like Shell for petroleum industries or petroleum products, and Pfizer. We are all know the pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, Nokia, Philips. This from corporations we know for services, companies or corporation like Yahoo, the internet browsing provider, and Intel service as well, and we can find the DHL for transferring the item with safety and security. All these companies are shifting from their image for the traditional way of servicing people to a more internationalized approach. A wide range of sophisticated products were introduced under a package of sales. For instance, if you can they 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 are not dismantling the service. They give like a full service for a package of service. So you apply for a service and then you get the call to track your service and to follow up your service and some kind of customer service. They follow up the service, they give it to you so as to get or obtain your certification as a customer to continue in dealing with them in the long run. In response to competition, bank reacted and began to build up their multinational operations through their own brand name. And for instance, they don't shift their name or change or try to sugarcoat their name. Rather, they face the international news sites with names. For instance, HSBC, CIB Bank, and Citibank, and other kinds of banks as well. Then banks began to show the negative results toward the classification. They diversified their products. For instance, if they are specialized in providing some kinds of loan and leasing, now they add some other service. For instance, mortgage, cash collaterals, a long-term loans so as to buy to invest in buying real estate, house, flat, etc. One of the most dominant example in this service we can imagine or we come to our mind the Citibank entitled as the financial supermarket. The financial supermarket term means that you can enter the bank and you will exhibit all the service you like or dislike. So it's a chance to choose. For instance, they serve cash collateral, mortgage, loans, and saving account, etc., etc., etc. Then by the end of the 70s, of the 1970s, bank operation had become more complex with a range of service and all. Yes, because as customer demand become more sophisticated, then banks have to be more sophisticated to deal with these demands as well. And other banks, they were providing some kind of some of this service were free because those who were sticking or clinging to providing service was surcharges or the charge for the minor or major service. Other MMEs, banks like the international banks or international corporation bank, they will provide fee-based service were increased, and others they were providing some free service so as to advise or to attract their companies from other service like bank or financial institutions. In addition, non-financial institutions were also providing financial service in the more competition. Put it that way, you can imagine now Vodafone Cash. They are not financial institutions, but they provide financial institutions. For instance, you can transfer to one of your relatives or your friends money from one country to another, or from one governor journey to another, from Giza to Thunder, or from Banha to Alexandria, and vice versa. Other examples uh, we can find them in Fowey by Fowey service. Yeah, I mean, you can go to the grocery machine, the grocery shop or to supermarket, and then you can pay all your bills, electricity bill, water bills, internet bills. Uh, Supermarket and grocery shops, they are not financial institutions, but they become specialized in doing and acting the financial transaction is so as to attract their customer and keep their reality to their shop and products. As well as supermarket, you can ask for, or they can provide you with some kind of you can pay with your credit card in supermarket, and then the teller in supermarket or the cashier will ask you in a gentle and polite question, would you like to have some kind of a cashback? So if your bill costs you 100 Egyptian pound and you need 50, he or she will charge you 150. So I mean, this is like a financial transaction. Comes from non-specialist financial institution. This affecting the bank strategy in the long the emergence of and the progress of the IT or new information technology impacts the operation of the bank and become one of the key driver. For instance, the back office become automated. If you want to withdraw money, you can go to the bank machine or the bank ATM, automated teller machine, and ask for other service you can get through the teller or through the bank windows. For instance, you can get your bank statement through the ATM, you can transfer money through the ATM, you can put in money through the ATM, and you can take out money from the ATM. So the banks become more automated than they once were. Again, saving and loan association initiated interest-bearing transaction account and provide competition to commercial banks. Uh, Put it that way. Banks were become more and more using software ways as to provide service to their account, so as to keep their loyalties and achieve their satisfaction by initiated interest-bearing transaction accounts and so that competition for commercial banks. As well as now the emerging of lawyer and real estate agents and financial brokers through the stock market, through whom you can buy your shares, sell your shares, and promote your shares, and even shift or swap your shares to other assets so as to make money or to make benefit. Asset managers also offer financial service because uh, if you want to buy like a villa or a flat or like a whole compound, you can go to consultants for asset manager, and then those people will be able to give you like a financial service and advice as to how to invest your money through this area or line. Um, Here we occur to different topic which changes in bank strategy in the 80s. In the 80s, bank industry experienced an acceleration in the pace of changing in both retail and sale and wholesale market. Let us look at the retail banking. Retail banking is segmentation of consumer group and provide a specialized service or private bank service. For instance, now they have some kind of superior account for the VIP, and even the card they categorize them into segment or into categories of people according to their volume of their account. For instance, if you go to the bank and ask for an ordinary card, they give you like a credit card or a debit card if you have like a limit amount of money in your bank. But you cannot get like a platinum card or a golden card unless you have like a big volume of money in the bank. As such, they categorize or they specialize the private bank service into segment or segmentation, like for each rich individual or high net worth customers, those people who are like businessmen or brokers in the stock market, etc. Certified accounts, uh, for instance, personal loans, security finance, insurance, mortgage, deposit, etc. The replacement of paper-based account system. Now, all banks, or the majority of banks, are going to convert themselves into or shift from paper-based account system to paperless account system. You can even sign or do the transaction according to your cell phone or your gadget on the run. You don't need to go to the bank and wait in the long queue so as to get your service done. Then increase competition for loans and deposits as well, because people, according to this segmentation and diversification, the competition for loan and deposit have been increased. Um, the changes the bank in the wholesales as seen from let us see the wholesale banking, the changes is competition intensify and become more fierce because banking strive to obtain or to dominate the market by raising its competitive advantage and cancel out some of their efforts. Again, the these banks become more stronger so as they start to negotiate with the bank, as negotiate the interest. Or you or whoever want to go to bank and ask for interest, they give you a high interest according to the volume. If you are like an ordinary people or then from of the ordinary people or ordinary individual, you will get the ordinary rate of interest. But if you have a big volume or like if you are a millionaire or a billionaire, of course you will get like different categories of interest and service, and even some service charge will be waived from your transactions. The Japanese banks took the first 5 top position in the international bank league because of their acceleration as the dominancy in the market. Again, as a new development in the IT and information technology approaches to some of the wholesale corporate markets increased. This increased the competition from non-bank institutions, for instance, General Motors or Electric or American Express and other major credit finance companies. A new approach have been emerged in the bank marketing style, as we can see in front of uh, you can comprehend that in the style of banking that the want to turn themselves into one of financial service centers. Because banks are not relying on the traditional way of service in the market. They are now trying to strive and to come into a organizing style to have to preview, as I said before, like Citibank, a full menu or like a financial supermarket. You can get in the bank and get whatever service you want. Again, the competition become fierce as you provide to customers satisfied with the high speed efficiency and cost involved. Uh, and bank as well become in a more work and more worker and more diversified banks in a manner that in a manner that the speed the pace so as to cope with modern diversification and the modern technology that other banks do. Uh, so that they might give you a visit at your clinic if you are a doctor, or your office if you are a lawyer or whatever, or your company if you are a businessman, so as to show or give their multi-service in front of you for you to pick or check or to become a dealer of their banks. Yeah, yeah. In my office in the university, I have experienced many bankers who come into my office and introduce their service, and they offer like free loans and high rates with low rates of interest, etc., etc., etc. So as to to enforce me or to make me one of their loyal customer and more provider. Technology is one considered as the more key driver that enables the bank to cope with identified competition. Yeah, of course, because the more automated and more diversified and more digitalized banks, the more customers you will get, because people now are, they have no time to wait for the service. They want to do the service on the run or even on their hand gadget like mobile phone or etc. Lending and credit service, you can see here service like overdraft, a fixed rate short, and hire purchase, and tax leasing, and some of these like property constructions loan if you want to build a house or to buy a villa, or to more like mortgage finance loan to get like for that 25 years, 20 years loan to buy a flat or whatever. General bank service, we can see the international and domestic and commercial service have been merged and have been on operation. For domestic transfers, the check and the bank payment, bank to bank transfer, all that. Now, all this service you can experience your hand gadget, unfortunately. International transfer, like the ETF transfer, bank draft, and commercial, like claim credits or documentary credits or import and export credits. All in all, you can 90% of this you can both through your gadget phone or mobile, smart mobile phone as well. The specialized service here is the trust service and executorship, exchange register, states planning, and the consulting service, invoicing center if you want like to get like an invoice. I mean, this is an old or like an option. And you can get like an invoice again of your automated bank or through the ATM bank uh, automated teller machine or the ATM in front of your bank or the back of your bank. The insurance man service it give like free service or like consultants free so as to get your loyalty as a customer. Other service like the payroll management account, if you have like a large uh, uh, sum of individuals or large workforce diversity, they give like some payroll management you can pay to your university employees or factory employees or whoever transferring to money or the wage or the salary or the salaries uh, separately to their multi-banks account or etc. Travel arrangement and life insurance planning or pension or data processing service, non-life insurance, customer bank service. All in all, banks they are service that your bank can even provide you with a service even online or through your gadget. But again, all in all, have been done and achieved and installed or set up so as to satisfy your needs and wants and keep your loyalty to your bank or